Great moments are born from great opportunity.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Average Joe's wins in a shocking upset.
I feel shocked.
You suck compared to me.
So you guys are two prep school white guys to podcast.
We are underdogs.
They stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I haven't even told anybody this. This is kind of crazy.
Robinson for three. Bang.
All right. Welcome back into the Long Shot Podcast. We have a very special guest with us today.
Very special.
Honestly, doesn't need much of an introduction.
The man who needs no introduction.
Yeah, that's Mark Cuban. Mark, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
No, it's I love how this came about. We were about 30 minutes ago just enjoying some Earth Cafe.
Yep.
There separately. It's not like we, went there together, just happened to run into you and just kind of asked if you would come on. And, I got to say, I assume you're a pretty busy guy.
No.
So I don't believe that, but I really appreciate the
My
fact
pleasure.
that you made some time for us.
We've known each other a while.
We have 100%, but this is it's like a lowly podcast in the
Right.
grand scheme of
Not,
things.
not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
70
hope.
episodes. Y'all waited
That's-
70 episodes for me.
That's
Come
the
on now.
hope, is that you're gonna be you're gonna just change the trajectory for us. Just be a big boost. But yeah, we're out here in Vegas. First off, what do you obviously
Summer League.
yeah, Summer League, just
Yeah,
kind of just
NBA
doing your
meetings,
due
yeah.
diligence.
Like board of governor meeting, yeah, due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like, with any team, like you get your rooks, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, you have your expectation when you draft them or you sign them. Then you got to go watch them in Summer League, and you just hope they kind of like start
Yeah.
to show some of that talent. So out here watching Jaden and some of our other guys, and then we have NBA Board of Governor meetings too.
Yeah.
And those are always a shit show in and of themselves. So
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think Vegas in general is a shit show. Has come to be my experience with it.
yeah,
I
I've
think,
kind of noticed that over
like
the years.
early,
Yeah.
like we got here less than 24 hours ago, and I already kind of have that like little cabin fever of like
Yeah.
you're not able to go outside because you're just getting
Too
hit,
hot.
hit with a
Yeah.
blow dryer as soon as
Yeah.
you step outside. But
So where have you gone out in your 24 hours?
we did a little soiree to where we go last night.
Duncan had a big night last night.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually we went off the strip for dinner.
Uh-huh.
There's a Michigan guy
Uh-huh.
who owns a hotel, hosted us very kindly. Derek Stevenson, I believe is his name.
Mhm. What was the spot?
Circa was the hotel.
Yeah. Oh, Circus? Or?
Circa.
Oh, Circa. Yeah,
Circa, yeah. But yeah, so that was a good time. And then basically we've just been kind of hanging around here. We popped into XS a little bit last night,
Yeah,
just subtly.
I got you. See a little
Are you
Chainsmokers?
frequenting some night spots? Or you just
Yeah, I
kind
know
of
the chain smokers. Yeah, we were darting with them. Yeah,
I
yesterday.
love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
little darty, right? And
You don't
I've
go to the
noticed-
concert.
They actually, I had a birthday party in my backyard a few years ago, and they played, so we got to be friends.
unbelievable.
Yeah, so it didn't suck.
Can you get him to play at my birthday or
No.
Can't do that. Fair enough. I will also say you were walking over here. Like it must be hard for you to move around
Nah,
a place
it's
like
easy.
this.
Yeah, people. I mean, I get asked for pictures, but it's easy to be nice, right? There's nothing hard about being nice.
I've also seen I've never seen you turn down a picture request.
No, there's
In the-
times like
in
if
the
I've
time
been
that I've-
drinking, if I've been
Fair
drinking,
enough.
that's when I'm saying no. But or if I got to be someplace quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's hard. I learned from watching some guys over the years that like don't like to take pictures.
Yeah.
It takes more time to say no than to just say yes and take the
Yeah.
picture.
It's easy to be nice. I
Yeah.
don't think that's for everybody.
It's just easier. It's
Yeah.
just a lot easier.
My move is if they want to take a picture, I actually grab their phone and just do the selfie. Because otherwise, if they start taking the
And they
photo,
start fumbling with
it's
it.
a whole
Yeah,
fucking ordeal.
no,
Then
for
they
sure.
try to
You
find
might have
somebody.
seen me out there a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just grab them.
You just take it,
Or
take the
they're like,
selfie.
my arms aren't long enough, or like they tell me I'm too tall. I can't imagine with you. Right?
Yeah,
It's
just take the selfie and,
and
keep it
be
moving.
gone.
There was actually a time, this was a year or two ago, where we were out to dinner and somebody asked me to take a picture of them with Duncan. And I was getting ready to take the picture. And then I went and grabbed a chair and pushed it out of the way. I really wanted to set up the picture the right way. He got so pissed at me.
Yeah, because it's
Dude,
like
just snap the picture.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like what my mom does when like I'm with her and somebody has to take a picture. She's like, "Oh, do your friends want to get in it?" And it's like, "No, we take the picture, we just keep it
Move
moving.
on,
This
just
is
keep it
not."
moving.
All right, I know you have limited time. I really wanted to take this opportunity. I actually have a couple business ideas I want to pitch you. So I watched you on Part of My Take,
Oh, dear.
and I'm not coming with any bullshit like the taco tape.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
okay.
that was. I love those guys. Obviously,
like 'em too.
we've been on their show before. They've been on ours, but I mean, taco tape. That's weak. I'm
it was
coming
actually
with.
pretty good. It was
I mean, it's-
actually pretty good, and somebody actually made it
Did they really?
Yes, and they sold some of it. Yes, wrapping your
Unbelievable.
tacos, the tape to wrap your tacos because tacos always
Yeah,
fall
edible
apart.
taco tape.
And I
Yeah.
think I said it was a good idea, right? And it was just like somebody made it,
That's all someone needed to hear.
and it's a great idea, right?
Unbelievable.
Well, this could be the next taco tape.
I did Howard Stern, right? And this same thing, right? They wanted to pitch me, and was it a lady? No, it was a lady came on, and she had this thing she called shittens.
Oh my
right?
goodness.
They're like mittens. but they're-
Shittens?
Shittens. Like if you have a little kid and it's shitting everywhere, right? And you got to like mess with that shit. You just put these things on. And Howard's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "It's a good idea. You just got to make some and some."
Right.
So they did. And like if you Google shittens, they're still selling
They
them, and they've
still
made like
exist.
millions of dollars, like little gloves for shit.
So I'm also now realizing that like my idea of pitching you is not very original. Now that you probably get
Okay, well I'll
pitched-
pitch you one then.
All right, what do you got?
So I get an email from this dude, and he goes, "I own the domain goblue.com."
Whoa.
Owns it.
He does. He does. And
The
he's like-
University of Michigan does not own GoBlue.com.
Nope. And I'm giving this away, and I shouldn't. And so I'm like, "How much you want for it?" Now, in my devious mind, and he's doing this
I love
whole
that.
big pitch,
Let's
right?
just get straight to numbers.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
much do you want?
No, he's giving me this whole big pitch about merchandise he sells and this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that. And I'm listening, it's all via email. And I'm listening to it. In my mind, I'm thinking, if I can buy this thing, I'm pointing it right to iu.edu. That's the
That's
only
awesome.
reason I'm buying it. And he wanted $38,000 for it. I'm like, done. So start the process, 38 grand.
It's a reasonable price for a good prank.
was gonna
You know what I
say.
mean? 38.
Yeah, why not, right? A night at excess.
Yeah.
But then his brother got involved, and no, it was his son. And he was like, "No, it's got to be 85,000." I'm like, "You just changed the deal." I'm
That's
like, "I ain't going to do that,
ridiculous.
right?" And then he came back again at like 65. I'm like, "No, I made a deal, and if you live up to the deal,
Yeah.
I'm done." So so then I didn't respond to him, and he came back again. And I said, "Look, I'll be here." So if somebody wants to top that number,
Unbelievable.
but if he comes back down, it's going.
So
to
what? Wait,
IU.
what do you think gets it done right now? Then what's the winning number? What,
I'm not gonna tell
What
you.
would I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
you
come
can't
in
give
at?
that.
I'm not going
All
to
right,
tell
fair
you.
enough, fair enough.
That's an off-air
I'll be honest.
conversation.
Listen, I love the University of Michigan. I don't know if my financial priorities are to invest in a domain
could-
name right now.
Could you make money at it? Yeah, you could. It'd be really, really easy.
Really?
Really easy. Yeah, to make that money back for sure.
Well, you're
Give me
giving
a
away
business model. Just
No.
10,000
No.
foot view. Nothing.
No.
All right.
No,
We'll talk
the
off
best
there.
way to do it is you point it to Indiana, whatever. And
All right, I like it. All right, that's good stuff. I am going to pitch you one.
wait, I'm gonna give you one other one.
All right, I
But I'm
love
not
it.
pitching you this one. I'm just gonna give you another. Same price, right? The exact same price. Somebody hit me up. It's been like 10 years. And they're like, "I own the trademark to City of Champions." And I'm like,
Shit.
"Okay, what do you
I
want?"
mean, that's
for it?
Boston. City Champions.
But yeah, back then for sure.
Okay.
And 38 grand. I bought it. So like anytime a city like I wanted Tampa Bay because they had football and then they had hockey.
Shit.
Like whenever they put it on T-shirts,
Yeah.
I got paid.
So you just collect a royalty off
Yeah,
that.
they got to license it and I get paid.
These
Yeah.
are things I wouldn't even think
Unbelievable.
about. There's a gap.
But
that
I,
needs to
like,
be
see, I
closed.
grew up in Pittsburgh and we used to call ourselves the City of Champions, right?
Right.
Because of the Steelers. And then you get whenever somebody's winning a bunch or whatever, they call themselves the City of Champions. I'm like, 38 grand, done.
How does somebody like that like get in contact with you?
Because my email is pretty public. Like when I first bought the Mavs, I published my email on the Jumbotron because I wanted all fans to be able to get a hold of me and email me. And then, I mean, I've been on TV shows and given out my email for different reasons. So if you Google my email, it's there.
And this is like the email that you actively check every
yeah,
single day.
all the time. But I do the same thing. Like you get a paragraph. I'll read that first paragraph
After
and
that,
if-
you lost me.
bam,
Yeah.
delete key. And it takes me, I might get 1,000 emails a day, but you set up your email so you can read the first part of
Yeah.
it, the preview. Bam, bam, bam.
And if
bam,
it's
bam,
bullshit,
bam, bam.
you're
It's
just
easy.
out.
Yeah, it's easy.
You don't
So-
regret that decision.
No, not at all. I've invested probably $100 million plus in people I've never met to this day.
Wow.
God.
That's what I was going to say. How much have you returned just off of a random?
One company
cold
was a
email?
company called Relative. Well, the guy from Cost Plus Drugs we'll talk about, that was a cold email. Another one was Relativity Space that just got valued at $4 billion. And I bought like 20%. Now I've been diluted a shitload because they've had to raise a lot more money, but I got like 20% of the company for 750 grand. And it was a cold email. Guy, Tim Ellis, who's brilliant, Dallas guys. I'm like, okay, you're Dallas. You're obviously smart. Because what I do is I go back and ask questions. If it's a tech thing, I'll just start peppering with questions. And depending on how they answer, I'll know whether or not they know their shit at all. And the guy was great right on. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I gave him the cash to get started.
So I've always wondered this because obviously I don't have the same deal flow that you do, but some people do come to me with like, I got this idea, that idea,
Your
whatever.
rep is out there.
And I have people that I turn to to consult, to bounce ideas off of. Do you do that, or are you just like, I know what's good at this point, I don't need like a third
If it's like
opinion?
technical, I might ask somebody a question, but for the most part,
You know what it is.
because I want to stick to what I know.
Yeah.
Because my deal is, I'm not just like, okay, this looks like a great deal, I'll just invest and be a silent investor. Usually, I try to invest in things that I know,
Right.
and probably 40% of the time I'll be silent, 60% of the time I'll be involved in some way or the other.
And that's really where you can add your value
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And that's
is with
why
your
I get a lower
platform.
valuation. And if I help them
Right.
grow, then that's where I make the real money.
Yeah. Let's talk about cost plus drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs plus cost. Which one is it?
Costplusdrugs.com.
Cost plus drugs.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crushing right now. I feel like everybody that I talk to at some point it comes up in conversation.
That's
We
amazing.
We start to talk about affordable healthcare and what you've been able to do. Can you just talk about a little bit about like the genesis of that and
Sure.
then now where we are
Speaking of
now?
emails, right? So this Dr. Alex Oshmayansky, he is a radiologist and a physician and a statistician. He is like a PhD in math, just
Holy shit.
super smart dude, right? And he was trying to take on the problem of certain rare drugs that have for rare diseases that have become generic, but there's not enough patients to make the business worthwhile. And so people jump in like the farmer bro dude and they just jack up the prices.
Yeah.
So he wanted to deal with that. I'm like, you're thinking too small. So he sent me an email. I started hitting him with the questions and everything. And we got to the point where like, you know what? We can come up with a way to buy generics initially, set up a company where we just sell them for our cost plus 15%, plus $3 for handling for the pharmacy we work with, and then $5 for shipping. That's it. And
Crazy.
being completely transparent. So if you go to costplusdrugs.com, you put in the drug you might take, right? It could be a cancer drug, it could be birth control, whatever, and you'll see exactly what we pay for it. So if we pay $10, we add 15%, so it's $11.50 plus $3 plus $5. And it doesn't matter, you can order 1 month's worth, you can order 90, you can order 2 years worth as long as your doctor prescribes it. But what's happened is we're competing against these things called pharmacy benefit managers, right? And what they do is rather than just, letting the pharmacies buy the drugs and sell them for whatever price they want to sell them for, they get in there and say, no, pharmacies, and, particularly the big retail chain, we'll do all the negotiations for you. And then they go to the manufacturers and say, okay, give us a great price because we'll get you into this pharmacy or
Right.
we'll get you into this insurance company or we'll get you into this hospital. But, oh, by the way, since we're the door, the gatekeeper, right? We're the bouncer for all these things. You got to give us some VIG. You got to give us a rebate on top of that.
Yeah.
And that rebate somebody's got to pay for, right? We cut all that out. We don't take insurance. We work outside the system. But the way we're doing it, our prices are so low that we're the cheapest by far, and we're typically lower than people's copay, even if they have insurance. And so it's just blown up. We started January 19th of this year. It took us 3 years to put it all together, but January 19th of this year, and we already have more customers, we've shipped more prescriptions than we expected 2 years in. It's just like, and we don't spend any money on advertising, nothing. It's just all word of mouth. Because, if you have, there's a drug, I think it's called imatinib or something like that, which is for leukemia. And if you were paying $600 or $800 or $2,000 like some people were, and we're selling it to you for $54, you're telling everybody that has leukemia
Yeah.
that's buying the same drug
Right.
to buy it. And so, it's all viral and word of mouth, but it's just blown up. And I'm proud to be part of it for real because it's changing the game.
Yeah. As you should be. I mean, it's changing lives too.
Yeah, it is.
And it's providing opportunities for people. I mean, that's like the one thing that I always think about in terms of we're living in, what's supposed to be considered a model of what a first world country should be. And we have this system where people who are sick can't have access to
It's insane.
the
right?
medication that they
there's
need.
so many people. I mean, now people are like, they get my email, right? They're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, and crying and this and that. And it's just like, You should not have to pick between your rent,
Right.
your food, or your medicine. That's fucked up in every which way.
Yeah.
And right now we've got like 800 generic SKUs, but we're in the process of adding brand name drugs as well. We're trying to get everything from insulin to blood thinners, you name it. I mean, there's no assurances we'll get them all, but I think we've got a good shot.
Are there things that you can't get your hands on?
There's some things that are just things that have to be prescribed in a hospital, or because we deliver via mail order. Like if there's an antibiotic, we can sell it, but more likely they're going to buy from a local pharmacy because you need it now, right? You have an infection or whatever. You need it now.
This is somewhat of a loaded question, so if you need to kind of avoid answering it, feel free to. But in doing so, like you are shaking up
Yeah,
the
I want
health
to fuck them up
industry,
big time.
right?
Yeah.
Have you felt pressure?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like where?
Oh,
how,
yeah.
And what does that look like? How,
Yeah,
how
I
does
mean,
that?
Like some of the people we partner with, they're like, you know, they'll tell them this is just a reminder what you cannot do.
Right.
Right. It's not like, okay, you're benefiting patients, we'll let you slide or whatever. It's like, no, you're not supposed to do this. And, we're going into different, right now we sell direct to consumer, and we're going to be selling to hospitals very shortly, and we'll be selling to insurance companies shortly, or the insurance companies will just refer their patients to us and not even do it through the insurance company because it's cheaper if they just pay for them to go through us.
Instead of a copay.
Yeah. And they're getting some pressure from some of the folks. But on the flip side, the manufacturers, they're not always the bad guy. The drug manufacturers aren't always the bad guy that people make them out to be. So, the people who make insulin, as an example, they sell it through these PBMs, it's kind of convoluted, but basically through the PBMs at a low price. And then the PBMs or the different affiliated companies associated with them jack up the price so that insulin becomes really expensive. When they sell direct to us, manufacturer to costplusdrugs.com, we sell to cost plus 15%, and it makes the manufacturer look better.
Right.
Because now, if we can get one to sell us insulin, knock on wood,
There you go.
knock
on some wood for that one.
then all of a sudden, the price of insulin goes way down.
Yeah.
So, and then there's other pieces to it, like shipping insulin, he's got to be refrigerated. And so all these drugs have these little nuances, but, the goal is to disrupt and change the game.
Where does it rank in terms of business opportunities or investments that you're most proud to put your name behind?
Well, it's not really an investment per se, but in terms of pride, number one.
Number
by
one.
far. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of cool stuff and changed a lot of games and disrupted industries, but I mean, come on.
It's tough to beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You're talking about it with a passion.
Yeah. I mean, when people are just hitting you up online or walking up to me and just like crying and, oh my God, and this and that, I mean, it's special. I mean, and just hearing the stories, like I always go online, like in all my businesses, one of the first things that I've learned to do is, you go on social media and you search for it to find out, are people happy or
What
sad?
people
Or
are saying, yeah.
And if there's a problem, I don't just hand it off to somebody else. I respond, right? Because you want to be the first line of defense because that's how you know what
You'll
people
respond
think.
on social media?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. And I've always emailed social media, whatever, all my companies. Like when we're first started, same thing. And I don't always get it perfect, but that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And so, you go on there, and there was one today where it was like something was $4,600 at CVS, and our price was like $18 or something ridiculous. It's just
I mean, you did a beautiful job of explaining it, but I still don't understand how that discrepancy can exist.
So when you're sick, right, and you need something to keep you alive, right, or to try to get you healthy, you don't shop.
Right.
It's just like, oh, fuck, my life.
Like, I need this.
I need this, right? And we're so our habit is going to the local pharmacy. And I mean, there's every great reason to go to your independent or retail chain because you have every good reason to trust them. You know? And so that's what we do. And the way they have to buy things, and it's not always their fault, that just increases the price.
Right.
And it's hard enough for them to make money as is. And, for better or worse, when those PBMs get involved, that price goes up. And so that's how it happens. And we're going to do our best to change that.
Yeah.
I guess most of the ingenious ideas are simple.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's like, why was this not being done before?
And it's not that it hasn't been done before, because what happens is, like, if this is 23-year-old Mark, right? And I'm like, let's get it done. And let's just say I was able to put together some money to make it happen. if 23-year-old Mark, who was living 6 guys in a 3-bedroom apartment and just grinding it out and broke, and all of a sudden someone came up and offered me $200 million, I'm saying,
You're taking
Yeah.
it.
let's
right.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my next dollar is not going to change my life.
Right.
Fair.
Not even a tiny bit.
Right.
You know, it's not going to change my kid's life. It's not going to change their kid's life. I mean, one of them's going to have to fuck things up really, really bad after I'm gone. For it
Who's
to,
most likely to do that? No.
Fuck no. Actually, my kids are pretty cool, so I'm not worried too much about that. So it's not about the money at this point. I mean, it's going to cost me a lot of money to do this, but hopefully we'll get past break even and we can just start even manufacturing things. You know, we're building a manufacturing plant for injectable drugs in Dallas. And if it all goes according to plan and we keep on growing, then we can add more and more drugs that we manufacture in the United States, which, you know, reduces the supply chain risk and this and that.
Wow.
That's a hell of a position to be in life where you can't be bought, where you've just like, you're at a point where it's like, I no longer have a price tag.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I've always been like, I've always been the first guy to say, fuck you, but I did have a price tag.
Fuck you with it.
All right. I have 2 ideas.
Okay,
All
fire
right.
away.
My first one is it's a tech thing. So I feel like this
Come on.
actually they're both tech related. So this
Fine.
could be right in your wheelhouse.
Come on.
I may have you sign a non-disclosure afterwards, but
I don't do non-disclosures, and you should never do them either.
why not?
Yeah, because as an entrepreneur and someone who invests in a lot of different things, I don't want to be doing this deal over here, and then this deal that didn't get done, but I signed an NDA says, "Oh no, you got that idea from me." And da-da-da-da-da. So unless it's
Keep
one,
it everything out in the open.
yeah, it's just like either you trust me if you don't. If you
Right.
don't trust me, that's okay.
All right, no NDAs.
This is a very public-facing podcast.
Yeah, we have legitimately millions.
Millions.
Of listeners.
Millions.
Yeah,
Millions.
millions. All right, here's my idea. It's a refrigerator, okay? And basically, it has a running tab of everything that's in the fridge.
Uh-huh.
So whether you scan it with a barcode, whatever.
Samsung's already tried that.
No, this is
Okay.
not. It's not just expiration date we're talking.
No,
about.
I know.
So it's coupled with an app
right.
where on the app, it basically puts together recipes of what you have in your fridge. So you know,
I got you.
So you're like,
so
hey,
you know what you can make.
so
right?
you're like, hey, I'm really hungry.
what about
but
if
like,
it's in a cabinet?
so it knows what you have in the cabinet as well. It knows what you have in the cabinet as well.
That's separate
But then,
technology.
so this is the other thing. So it knows what you have in the fridge, and then it has all these options of like, if you add oil,
And then you can sell
flour,
it,
this,
you-
that, or whatever, you could also make all of these. So it's like, instead of like, oh, I have to go to the market to grab, and people don't even go to the market anyway. Everyone does Instacart, but like, I don't need to go shop for a whole meal. I just need to go add one ingredient and I can make all of these things. I think it's a great idea. It actually was born out of the fact that in college, we had a fridge and we would waste all this food all the time.
Okay, the shocking part of all this is that you cooked.
Yeah, I cook. I still cook
Yeah.
today.
That's the shocking part
Yeah.
because that's the first question. How many people are A, going to be able to afford the refrigerator? And B, if you could afford all that, you ain't cooking for yourself.
Mark's out.
Fair
He
enough.
doesn't like it.
Yeah,
All right, in that same light, then
it's not that it couldn't work, right? Okay, don't get me wrong, but here's the thing. One, you got to get a refrigerator that controls that. 2, you got to get people to scan in, or it's got to be
Yeah.
in a position where it can scan. And 3, if you're scanning whatever is in the cabinets, you got to be able to track what you use. Because most people, because the harder part isn't telling you what to do, right? The harder part is tracking what you already did.
Correct.
Right. So if
Yeah.
you had cheese and you had eggplant and you made eggplant parm bread, and you made
Yes.
eggplant parm,
I heard
how much did you use?
Yeah.
Right. Like if I cooked and I like extra cheese, and then
It
you
looks
went to
different.
go cook and I messed it all up for you because I took most of the cheese.
Yeah. I think there's a way around that. though.
I'll
No,
translate.
this-
Let me translate for Mark. It's a bad idea.
All right.
It's not the worst.
This
but
one's actually
it's not the best.
I think this one's really up your alley.
Okay. Fine.
It's venue related.
Mhm.
So it would be great for you guys are American Airlines, right?
Yeah.
Basically, and I think I had these are ideas I've been sitting on for quite some time, like 5 or 6 years. So
Probably with good reason.
I think Game Time, the Game Time app might do this. They might not though.
okay.
And it's basically live in-game upgrades. So it's
Yeah.
like
There's a bunch of places.
You
bunch of
sure?
things that do that. Yeah. Positive.
positive.
Hero for
But
two.
I'm talking like not like, for example, the venue knows who hasn't scanned through and
Right.
who isn't sitting in those seats. And at a certain point, you like lose the right to those seats. and
Wait,
that
for an empty seat or for
it's an empty seat.
right?
So
we
then
know
somebody,
it's empty.
somebody up above can pay for the second half of
Yeah, for
Mavs.
sure. No, there's
Heat
apps that do that.
for $35 versus what it would be face value like
Yeah,
100.
there's already apps that do that. And so typically what we'll do at the Mavs is if we've got somebody who's a season ticket holder who's sitting upstairs and there's 2 seats downstairs, we're like, okay, we're going to kiss your ass because you're a season ticket holder, as opposed to charging you. Because from my perspective, it's, okay, how much extra revenue can you raise? Let's just say there's 8 people or 10 people that are upgrade, right? And they're not going to pay a lot because we have 4,000 seats that are $29 or less. So they pay $29 and it's not like, they're going to have an extra 30 just to upgrade.
Yeah.
Right. So that there's not going to be a lot of revenue. So maybe you make, and you got to split it with that other, the app or whatever percentage. So maybe you're making an extra $100 a game, $200 a game.
That's not moving the
Not
needle
about
for
the
you.
That's not, but so the other thing we do now, we started issuing Mavs NFTs, right? So if you come to a game and you get there before the end of the first quarter and scan in, we'll give you a free NFT. Like you'll get a Dirk Punk, right? Or, all these different NFTs. And then people who collect the most, then we'll upgrade them or give them free tickets. So we know because we connect them to your seats. We connect them to your Ticketmaster account. Right?
Got it.
So then we'll do that to upgrade.
That makes sense. I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
How much are you willing to spend on an away team's locker room?
That's a great question. The problem isn't how much am I willing to spend, because I don't mind spending more. The problem is you have the way your arena is already configured.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? So if you're redoing your arena, then you can do it. So when you go to
Do
a
whatever
new
you want.
arena,
Yeah.
they're nice, right?
We were just having this debate earlier on another episode, and we were talking about the worst away locker rooms in the league.
Used to be Milwaukee.
Yeah, but Milwaukee's is pretty nice now.
Now, yeah, because they have. Yeah.
We kind of all, it was Pat Connaughton, and we agreed that it was Boston.
Boston's pretty bad.
Boston's is pretty
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. Milwaukee used to be. Remember, you used to have to walk by the showers.
I actually never played it.
Oh, you never. Oh my God, you had to literally walk by the showers to get into the locker room.
Yeah,
it was.
It's a great home court advantage, though. Why don't you just beat up the away locker rooms?
Yeah, but you also had to recruit and people. So like when I first bought the team, we put these really fluffy towels with Mavs logos on them. I mean, like really, really nice. And then everybody stole them.
They were gone.
Yeah, they were just stolen.
Yeah.
Guys would just take them. So
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it goes. And then I tried to do things where I did gift bags, right? So I was going to get all these sponsors who were going to set up gift bags for guys. So you came to a Mavs game and you guys played or whatever, and to go, right? There was all these gifts, and the league said no. We did it one time when LeBron was with the Cavs, and they shut that down. And then, but now we still have the food, right? Like when you come play, you can get all this
Love
great
that.
food. Nobody else does that. Nobody else does that. So that's our kind of our way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
'cause-
that is a special touch that you guys do, which I think everybody really appreciates. I'm going to throw you a curveball. What's the worst idea you ever had?
Some guy hit me up one time.
No, you personally.
Yeah.
Actually, no, for the guy first and then you.
He wanted to sell big wigs because it could take like Duncan Robinson at about 18 inches to his height, and you can block shots that way.
I love it. All right, that's not bad. I actually like that. Is
Did you think-
his audio all right? His audio's okay? All right,
Cool.
What's the worst idea you've ever had?
So like right out of school, I got fired from a job, and then I was trying to come up with something to sell, and it was powdered milk. And it was just, I'm like, well, people need to save money on milk. So, if it doesn't taste quite as good, no, I learned the hard way. That didn't last a week. What other shit have I fucked up? I mean, it's just, I'm like everybody else still, right? It's just like, you'll think of something
Yeah.
and you'll start thinking about it, and then you'll Google it, right? And you'll see if it's out there. It's not, no one's done this before. Then you'll tell your guys or your friends, like, okay, that's not bad.
Gain a little traction that way,
Get
a little
traction,
bit of confidence.
But then you got to try to actually get someone to buy it, right? And that's always the hard part. And what people forget, when you go out there and start Googling and it's not there, there's a pretty good chance it's because they went out of business, right? And it's already been there. But I've had plenty of bad ideas. But that's okay, man. Like I tell everybody, you only got to be right once. Yeah. No one remembers
100%.
like how many times I screwed up. Just got to be right once.
The purchase of the Dallas Mavericks was a good decision. in
Yeah, it worked
hindsight.
out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out.
I'd say
pretty
so.
Why,
Good return on investment.
why Dallas? You're
Because I was a
talking about-
season ticket holder. I lived in Dallas. I've always been a ball is life type guy. I mean, I still go play pickup, all that. one of the best parts of owning the team is I get to shoot before the games, right?
Yeah,
I get to
yeah.
run out in the court if we
I
get a
love it.
game winner.
I've seen the footage of you out there.
Yeah, shooting,
Yeah.
getting up shots. I mean, like if I'm stressed, that's the way I de-stress. But that's why. Because I mean, I've always loved basketball since I've been back.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. You know, feeling burnt out is not fun. A lot of people associate burnout with work, but sometimes you can just feel burnt out by the world. Life is overwhelming. Many people get burnt out without even realizing it. There's a lot going on around us. I know I can feel overwhelmed at times, like there's just too much on my plate. Sometimes I just want to disconnect and take some time for myself. Well, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking with someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life and can help you deal with that feeling of burnout. I really don't think there's much that you can do better for yourself than therapy. We've been open on this podcast about our experiences with therapy, how it's helped us, and how we think everyone can benefit from it. Everyone should be doing it. BetterHelp is customized therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you do not have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp. All you got to do is go to betterhelp.com/LS. That's betterhelp.com/LS.
A really good friend of mine who I grew up with was an intern for you guys under Propio. And you know, because he had
And he would rebound for me.
yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would text me, he was like, Mark Cuban came and played pickup with us today. And I would always ask him, like, what's his game like? He said, you have game.
Not anymore. No.
But this was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, even then, my game was pretty much gone.
All right,
Right?
fair
But
enough.
still, like like anybody else, it comes down to my legs, right? It's at some point you got to have your legs. But like I played the other day, and there was some D1 guys. I mean, he was like 28, 29, been out. And they'll give me room because they don't. I'm just the old guy out
Just
there.
let it ride. Just let it fly. Yeah.
And I was like splash, and then he came out pumping, took stuff. Splash.
I
Then my
love
legs
it.
were gone.
your-
Because
yeah.
he made me run. and
All
then it
you
was
need
just
is
like-
the two, though. You can take
was
that
it.
with
was
you.
good. Yeah, I was good, man. I got the highlight. But yeah, then they realized, okay, if I just make them run, because I literally try to play defense just because everybody thinks they're going to, when I play, they all think they're going to get a 10-day. Every single one of them. I'm like, yeah, you can go by me. Good. That's going to get you a 10-day.
That's funny. No, basketball has a little bit of that same thing that golf has, where like I'm not a great golfer, but if I go out and I hit one really good shot,
That's all you
it
need.
keeps me coming back. And basketball has a little bit of that too. Like you can play pickup, get up and down for a while, not really do anything, but like if you have one pure like
You
make where it
feel
just feels perfect off the hand,
Yep.
all net, like that alone will just keep you coming.
Literally, that's why I'll go out there and shoot, right? And plus, shooting on an NBA court with an NBA ball is easier, right? Than some of the things like if you just go to a pickup gym or whatever,
For
you never
sure,
know
yeah,
what you
yeah.
And so it's just like you start getting it out there, then ESPN sees me, right?
Yep.
And they're throwing stuff out
Yeah.
there, right? And so yeah, to me, that's like the ultimate. Or I go in my backyard, and that's the ultimate because you can't think of anything else.
Yeah, it's
All you're
therapeutic.
thinking about is your shot.
It's therapeutic. No,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Dave, you got anything else?
I mean,
Come on, Dave.
I got a lot more.
Come on, Dave.
I know we got
No rush.
We
I'm
got to be
good.
respectful. of
Okay,
it.
I have a locker room politics question.
Okay.
How do we decide? Actually, it's not just locker room. This is for both of you. How do we decide who sits where on a plane? Do you have any say in that?
Do I? I haven't. I guess I could.
Do you guys have your own plane, right?
Yeah.
I think there's only is there one other team?
I think maybe Portland.
the Rockets now have it too.
I don't know if the Rockets. do
Okay.
that, Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is easy because guys just kind of pair up, and then there's the guys who play cards.
Yeah.
And the guys who play cards get the table, and then it kind of works its way out from there. And then the guys who are close friends kind of sit next to each
But
other.
what about in terms of like less like where players sit, but like we have it very clear. Players are in the front.
Yeah.
Staff.
Yeah.
Go like on down the line. Is
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah, so it's
that unanimous?
players
That's-
front,
yeah.
right? And then coaches and then staff.
yeah, checks it out. I want to talk about Shark Tank
Okay.
because a friend of mine
Friday nights on
Uh,
ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central.
love that.
Our
plug.
millions of listeners
Yeah.
probably already watched it.
One of my friends, Charles Matthews,
Yep.
and a couple other guys who were managers at Michigan when I was there, pitched you,
Yep.
and
on.
they turned down an offer from you, which
Yep.
still to this
It's
day,
only happened like 5 times in 13 years.
I mean, like your track record on that show, I got to imagine the ones you actually invest in,
It's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. I mean, some of them are, basically the deals that I've done 150, 200 Shark Tank deals over the years.
Have
Yeah.
you really?
But they 20% end up being 5% are just like, oh my God, right? 20% are pretty good. 50% are, okay, middle end, whatever. And then whatever's 30% are just, oh my fucking God, how do I not see you're such a moron, right? And you hate to say it, but like just dumb shit. And so, yeah, I mean, I've got a good enough track record, and particularly for that, if it's right in your wheelhouse.
I mean, that was crazy to me. Yeah. I have a couple questions about the show in general.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you can disclose this, but I think maybe you can. You guys have a more thorough overview of the business than what we see on TV, right?
Yeah, we know nothing about them.
Significantly more thorough, though?
Well, yes and no. So we know nothing about them when they walk in the door. But if it's like a really intense business, like Charles probably told you, they were probably on there for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And so then they edit that down to 10 to 15 minutes. But if it's really intense and there's a lot of us that are interested and maybe it's tech or whatever, like some of those deals, the longest is like 2.5 hours, some are 2 hours. And then, it kind of goes, if it's intense, it's 60 to 90 minutes. And if it's just stupid, it's 20 minutes.
Got it. My other question is the money that each of you are individually investing, is that 100% entirely your money?
100%.
Or does the show like match you?
No.
No, there's none of that.
Yeah, we get paid a salary, but yeah, I always spend more than our salary. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I always wanted that because when they have people on, right, like a guest,
yeah, it's their
shark,
money too,
right? That's their money.
Like when Charles Barkley came on, he's like, "This is really my money." Yeah,
because I feel like that would be a dangerous situation.
And Charles and I did a deal together. We got one called SubSafe, right? It's just a little plastic thing. Like if you go boating or whatever, you want to put subs, chips, or whatever in it, wine, and it's great, right? And so they're killing it. SubSafe.
How much at this point is it like for you? Obviously, you're looking for the next great idea for yourself, but like I got to imagine it's more fulfilling for you to like promote and help entrepreneurs far more than it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that. It's more like teaching kids about business. Yeah, letting kids know that the American dream is alive and well. Yeah, that's why I do the show, right? Because like doing the show, like I go to shoot next week and I'll be there 15 days. And then we'll do it again, maybe 15 or 20 days in September. And that's it. But the hard part is dealing with the companies.
Right.
Like I've got this one deal, and sometimes like there's a TV part of the deals where it's like normally not a deal I would do, but it really sends a good message. So I'll put up the money and do whatever. And sometimes they forget that they have to work. And I start getting these emails.
Right, they think it's over once they do the deal.
And it's like, no, I have this one company, Hickaway, HICCAWAY, and it's brilliant. It's just like this little specialized, not straw, but like square thingy that if you have the hiccups and you put it in water and you suck through it, your hiccups are gone 95% of the time.
That's
insane. Like my son just had hiccups the other day, and it's like, bam, gone. And so, they saw like huge. You get a huge bump when you come on Shark Tank. I'm like, but you can't just like depend on that all the time. So you got to remind them. But when you have a great product like that, it figures itself out because word of mouth picks up.
Right.
But there's just going to be deals where I just do it because it's the right reason. You know, and it's not charity because I always believe that. Like I'm like you walking out, you always think that next shot's going in, right? And I always think that next business is going to hit it no matter what.
Were you part of Scrub Daddy?
No, it was not. But
that one, where's that rank? Are there bigger deals?
Yeah, a lot bigger deals now.
More successful brands?
Yeah, because Scrub Daddy does a lot of top line revenue and it's great business. I don't want to take them. But the biggest deal was not one of mine. It was Barbara Corcoran's called the Huggy, I think it was called, where it was one of those deals where you like big, comfy type thing. And it's like a knockoff of this other one. I forget what it's called.
The Snuggie.
Snuggie, knockoff of the Snuggie. Yeah. The guys came in, all they had was a prototype. And when someone walks in the door, my first thought is trying to find a reason not to do it because I already have too many deals, right?
Yes.
And these guys kept on talking, and they only had these prototypes that they gave to each one of us, and they were comfy and they were cool, but I'm like, no, they're not far enough along. Barbara is like, okay, I'll give you 50 grand for like a third of the business. And they were like, sure. These motherfuckers, as of 2 years ago, not even this year, 2 years ago, had sold $150 million. And Barbara herself,
my gosh.
Barbara herself made $37 million off of 50K.
investment.
It was just like,
Pretty good ROI.
yeah, that's,
That's insane.
it was insane.
I'm looking for my next Huggy. I gotta find that.
No
one.
kidding,
I gotta
right?
find my next Huggy.
And then
business
she's
deal.
still collecting checks. I mean, Barbara's amazing, right? She can't add 8 + 8, but she knows people really, really well.
Right.
So, everybody's got the skill you got to play to, and that's hers.
Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine how much of that for you is like, if it's a great idea and maybe questionable people versus great people and a maybe, so-so idea.
You got to have both, really.
Yeah.
But again, first is, for me, it's like, is it a great idea so that I can turn into something real?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, what do I think about the person? Do I want to send a message because it's TV? So if I invest in this person, there's millions of people and, all the people watch the reruns and online who are going to think, okay, if this person can get a deal and build a company, then so can I. So then there's
like
that.
that.
And then there's the one like no chance, whatever.
Yeah. I have a basketball question.
Sure.
All right, last one. What do you got?
Quick basketball question. In order to stay away from any tampering rules, we'll go past players. Who have you been most impressed by on a basketball court watching live? Just like
Luka. Dirk, Luka. And then
no homer picks.
no, literally homers. Kobe, obviously. All the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one game watching Kobe one time, and we were beating them. When I first bought the team they had not beaten the Lakers in over 10 years, and then we went 4 years, and then we finally beat them. And we were playing in LA, and then we played them another after we had beat them, and Kobe was hurt, and he had a bandage on his right hand, his shooting hand, and he played anyways. And we were up with like 3 minutes to go, enough that the game was no longer in question. Right in front of our bench, Kobe has shot clock's running out, does a turnaround jumper with his left hand.
Yeah,
I just seen that clip.
Left hand.
Seen the clip.
All I could do was just,
You just got to applaud that one.
Yeah.
Just tip your cap. Keep it moving.
yeah, that was insane. And then, there's always like guys you don't expect things from where, guys you can just play, right? But they're just not enough to have an NBA impact, or right, keep going. But that was probably the most spectacular non-homer type thing.
I appreciate the non-homer pick.
All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much, man. I know
This was fun,
this
guys.
was thrown on you last
Thank you.
second.
No, that's fun. That was fun, man.
And I really appreciate it. I'm going to just kind of hit the drawing board on some of my ideas,
You probably should.
and we'll run this back maybe like in a year or so. If
Okay.
this show is still going, at this point.
Of course,
it
it's
is.
going to be going, right? You'll be on Shark Tank pitching.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
We got that long shot, Blue Wire Studios.
I love it, man.
let's
That's a
build up
great
that
shout out
network.
right there. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
You
Appreciate
got
it.
it. Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that was,
man.
Thank you.
yeah, that's a keeper.
Yeah, I think my ideas probably would have been good. Like.